Welcome back to another episode of Building Tommy's Trading Post. In this episode, we're going to go through the June and July recap since I missed June. We're going to dive into a new personal collection project that I am working on, and I'll show some of the cards that I've got. I got a few new ones recently. And then we're going to dive into a new tool or software around collecting, and it's really for collectors. It's something that I think is amazing. I've been in talks with the guy who's created it, and I think it's worth highlighting. So let's get into the video. So let's get into the June and July recap. As you can see here, I have a presentation that kind of shows both of them. Some of it's combined, some of it's separate. But as you can see in this first slide, we have just combined high numbers. So June was definitely a higher number in terms of the gross sales, and I'll dive into the specifics there. But combined for the two, we had close to $2,800 or 2,800 cards sold. We had over 8K in gross sales, close to 580 orders, and then close to 1,800 in terms of our real net sales. But as we dive in deeper, so this is, again, showcasing June being like the high number in terms of gross sales. It's actually our highest ever, just passing 4,300, but it did have less cards sold than July, and the average order was way up. I'll dive into some of that in just a second. July here, you can see gross sales was down compared to June, but we did have more cards sold and more orders by close to or a little above 50 more orders, and our average order was down, which makes sense. June, so this is the big month, quote unquote. We had our highest gross sales. You can see all the details in terms of the expenses here, stuff from eBay fees, shipping labels, refunds, etc. Nothing was too out of the norm here. Most of it was pretty solid. Diving into July, again, the way that we have this is just like the honest month. June was definitely an outlier, but July was a little bit down in terms of the gross. Again, eBay fees, shipping labels, etc. were pretty standard. Even like the kept materials, since I've moved in here, there's not as many kept materials that are going up. I've stopped buying things that I want or somewhat need. I'm pretty set in the new office, so those have stayed pretty down. You can see the past 7 months. So you can see kind of the trend here. It's slightly up in terms of gross sales. It's kind of leveled out a little bit the past 7 months, but I would like to say that it's continued to kind of go up in terms of the overall trend. You can see the cards are kind of following suit as well. Being somebody who sells a lot of just singles or low end singles, it really fluctuates with cards sold. I rarely have months that are like really high in gross sales because I sold cards worth $300-400. June was a little bit of that. So if we dive into June a little bit, you can see the U pick. So this is those variation listings. The story is pretty much the same here. The one thing in June is I sold a lot of number one Lukes from the 1977s, and those were going insane, which they still are. I currently have one on auction that ends today, Sunday, August 16th, and it's already over $200. But those were the things those were the cards that really pushed June to be a high gross month. But you can see the rest is pretty stable, right? So it's blue series, it's green series. I got more orange series in June. I also kind of restocked on that here a little bit in August, so we'll probably see that tick back up. But it's really a lot of the 1977s. And then there's one or two modern U-pick listings that kind of creep in. So the Galaxy Refractors from 2022 creeped in June. Galaxy Chrome base or Chrome Galaxy base in 2025 is one that I'm selling a lot of now. I think a little bit of that has to do with the new 2026 Galaxy that came out just recently, and maybe people are looking at the 25s and grabbing some of those singles. But yeah, two similar months. The big difference was June, I sold a lot of the number one Lukes. I think I sold maybe 3 or a little bit more than that. And those really increase the gross sales just due to the fact that they're one card that goes for a decent amount of money and more money than they used to go for. This is just bundling. So diving into a little bit of kind of what I look at is just bundling in terms of orders. So you can see like 1 card orders, 2 to 3, 4, and then 5+. This goes a lot with my discounts that I have. So there's a discount for 2 to 3 and then 4+. So I'm just tracking in terms of, are people actually bundling cards? Do those discounts still make sense, or am I just doing something wrong? As you can see, both months are pretty similar. The only little difference was 2 to 3 and 4. They kind of flip-flopped in terms of July having more 2 to 3 and 4 cards versus June had a little bit more of the 5+ and a little bit more of the 1 cards, which again kind of goes to the fact that I sold more singles. This is from a buyer perspective, like who's buying from me. So again, something else that I track is just how many people are repeat customers, how many people are ordering more than once, et cetera, et cetera. So as you can see, 202 unique buyers. This is from July. You can see June had 192. We had more repeat buyers in July. We had more multi-order buyers in July as well. So they order more than once within the month, which is why July was a healthier month. Where June was a lot more people coming in, buying one thing or a couple cards and then not repeating. So the big idea is to build the repeat customers. And then this is kind of just the big one frame of everything. So real net in June was over 1K, which is great. I didn't buy as many cards in June, so that definitely helps the fact. But the real net is what is 30% of cost of goods sold is added into that, regardless of what I buy. So that's kind of the quote unquote real net. And then July, you can see, was a little bit of a dip, but a lot of this is me buying more cards to replace listings that I didn't have a ton of cards in. And you can see I'm trying to get to a 2K goal of net a month. So we're kind of 50% there in June and 38% there in July. So we're making progress, but we still have a long ways to go. But that's not like my biggest worry. It's still fun to see the numbers stay stable. I've connected with a lot more collectors, honestly, these past 2 months, where I'm texting them, we're getting cards for them, we're sharing our personal collections. It's been really fun. So that's kind of the overall picture of June and July. Next, we'll get into the new personal collection project that I have and show off some of those cards. So diving into this new personal collection journey that I'm doing, I previously was more of an Obi-Wan kind of mall Clone Wars type personal collector. I was going for Mojo Refractors. I just think the styling on them are amazing, especially within light. And I wanted to just kind of build my collection around Obi-Wan and the Clone Wars. But I found myself not really like having something to go after. I was just buying cards that I thought were cool, which is not a bad way to go about it. But I like the idea of kind of completing something or chasing something. So what I am doing is I'm going after a full set of the 2024 Galaxy and Mojo Refractors. This will be a very long journey. I'm not spending a ton of money each month just trying to grab cards. I am doing this hopefully in a smart way, but a fun way where it's kind of a collection journey where I'm, trying to check off stuff that I need to get. I also think 24 Galaxy is the best set out there. I know a lot of people like the 21 Chrome Galaxy because it's the first Chrome Galaxy that came out. I think 24 Galaxy is the best from a art standpoint in terms of just the base cards. I also think the inserts are the best inserts out there. So as a collective, I think it's the best set. So with that being said, I did have a few 24 Galaxy Mojo Refractors already from my personal collection that I was doing before, but we did add some new ones. So I'm gonna start off kind of go from cards that I already had and that you've probably already seen to new ones. So diving first in is Victory and Defeat, which is number 58. And it is this Chrome Galaxy. As you can see, it's kind of in there a little bit. So this is number 58. I've had this before when I was doing my other collection. As you can see, it's probably potentially backwards, but 58 there. I think this card's a great card, which is why I picked it up for my other collection when I was kind of doing that, but that is the first one there. The next one I had before that you probably have seen is number 69. It's the High Ground. So it's my favorite scene. I have a picture in our office at my day job that is this exact photo or artwork. So that is that one. And then I also had one insert Mojo Refractor from the set, which is just Darth Maul. It's the Art of the Sith. It's AS7. So that is this one with Maul with a double lightsaber. Again, I think is just an amazing card. So for the new ones, I picked up from Mind Trick Cards on Instagram. We made a deal, really nice guy. I was able to grab 3 more Mojos, one of them being a card that I had in Prism before, and I was looking all over for a Mojo Refractor of it, and I could not find it until it popped up, which is then what led me to buying 2 others that he had. It is number 13 Obi-Wan. So I had this in a Prism Refractor before, but now I obviously have it in a Mojo, which I think is amazing, and it goes with the set. The next one is, funny enough, another Obi-Wan Mojo. So really, I'm kind of keeping the Obi collection going, but we're still going for the 24 Galaxy Mojo full set. This one is number 77. I will watch over him. So this is obviously with Luke on Tatooine. Again, a beautiful card. And then I really like this like small piece of art down here showing the hut. But then you have Obi and Luke up top. And then the last new one that I got is from potentially my second favorite movie, even though it gets a lot of flack and people don't like it, which is episode 1. It is an insert, and it is the Theed power generator, Art of Naboo, AN1. And I, again, love the artwork on this. When I bought this, I didn't notice that they were fighting up top there, that the duel was going on until I got the card and looked a little closer. But again, I just love the artwork of these. I also love Mojo Refractors. I think they're the best, which is why I'm going for a full set of them. But that is the update so far. So out of the full complete set of 24 Galaxy, we have 6 cards, which means we have a long way to go. One thing I am doing though is I'm selling off the other cards that I had in my personal collection. I had a 24 Prism of Obi. I had some 25 Galaxy Mojos. There'll be another one listed here potentially soon. So if you're looking for any cards that were maybe Obi-Wan or Clone Wars, specifically in the kind of like Mojos, take a look at the eBay store or reach out to me. I still have, I believe, all of them at the moment. So yeah, selling those cards off to build this new Mojo set of the 24 Galaxy. It'll be a long journey, but I'm going to keep highlighting it on my Instagram. I'm going to take pictures and say like, hey, got this one, and keep going. And I'll do updates and videos as well. But just wanted to showcase that, as I'm excited to have a really good personal collection journey that I will be on, and something I can update everybody with as I go. So the last thing I want to dive into is a software or kind of just a website that is great for collectors. So let's dive into that. So diving into the one highlight I wanted to have in this episode, it is collectionkeeper.org. So this is a great place for Star Wars card collectors. It's something I've tried to do a little bit on my own website, but I think this is done definitely in a way better way. And I've worked a little bit with the person who built this in terms of sending them photos to help their systems work and for the cards to populate, etc. But I honestly can't take any credit. He's done an amazing job with this, and it continues to grow. I know he shared it off, I think at it wasn't the National, where did he go? Maybe it was the National that he was at, and he showed it to some collectors there, and they loved it. They had some great feedback. What it is a place to show off your collection, to kind of post what you are looking for, and to potentially sell or trade cards that you have. So as you can see, we're kind of in the home page here. You can see on the nav bar, it has my checklists, has community checklists, it has the marketplace, messages, resources, etc. So you can get a profile, again, collectionkeeper.org. Hey there, one quick thing from Tommy, who's editing this video, is I'm talking about collectionkeeper.org. I'm going to do a whole separate video diving into the features and all of that fun stuff. I'm hopping on a call with the guy who has created it, and we decided it'd probably make more sense if I learn a little bit more about it, dive into it a little bit more, and then can do a full separate video explaining everything about it. So this is just a sneak peek, and then stay tuned for a new video all about collectionkeeper.org. But with that, that is the episode of Building Tommy's Trading Post. I appreciate you here. I appreciate you being here with me. It means a lot. I'm sorry I missed the July video to recap June. It's just been crazy at work and crazy in life, so I just took that month off, but wanted to mention both of them here. And again, appreciate you being here, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.